Good morning or afternoon or evening, whatever it may be for you. My name's Bob Jameson. I am a CPA PhD, author of the CCH treatise S-Corp Taxation. I am a frequent participant in Western CPE programs, and I look forward to seeing all of you, I hope, at one or more of the conferences this fall. Today we have a question about S corporations, which is my specialty. Can an S corporation owner have the corporation reimburse them for corporate use of their personal residence, avoiding the need to treat their home as rental? Then how would it be reported on the tax return? Um, I would have preferred a bit more specificity, but in giving an answer, I always like to look at the source. Where do I get my answers from? If I'm pulling them out of thin air, they're no good to you. So where do I pull them out of? Internal Revenue Code. And in this case, we've got Section 280, Cap A, C, exceptions for certain business or rental use, limitations for deduction of such use. Well, it starts out subsection A, and that says no deduction, shall not apply to any item unless such item is allocable to a portion of the dwelling unit which is used exclusively on a regular basis as the principal place of business for any trade or business of the taxpayer, as a place of business which is used by clients, patients, clients, or customers in meeting or dealing with the tax court in the normal course of business, or in the case of a separate structure which is not attached to the dwelling unit in connection with the taxpayer business. The essence of the question, as I read it, is that this is a room within the home and not an outbuilding on the same property. Now, problem is when we get into S corps, says the preceding sentence shall only apply if the exclusive use referred to is for the convenience of his employer. Purpose of subparagraph A, principal place of business, administrative management activity. Well, you kind of know if you see it, right? So, in other words, if you've got another office to go to downtown, no way you can claim any sort of deduction. Now, we get then into another problem, which is not unique to S corps, but remember, an S corporation is a corporation, and once it has that status for tax purposes, it can only act through its employees. In other words, when you are acting on behalf of the corporation, you are an employee. So, what I just read you seems to say, well, maybe so, but then we say shall not apply to any item which is attributable to the rental of the dwelling unit or any portion thereof by the taxpayer to his employer during any period in which the taxpayer uses the dwelling unit portion and performing services as an employee. Okay, here's what you can do, here's what you can't do. You can get a reimbursement in your capacity as a director. Now, when the IRS comes calling, you'd better have some very, very careful books and records. However, you cannot take any rental deduction. Now, this is not all bad if you think of it. Say, let's throw the director thing aside and say you're an employee of your S corporation and it's renting the spare bedroom in your house, which you use exclusively for the corporation's business, and it's paying you $500 a month. Well, what happens here? What is payment for the use of property? Definition of that is rent. So you have rent of $500 a month or $6,000 of income you have to report on Schedule E. Now, think for a moment. This is not all bad because the corporation is getting a $500 a month or $6,000 a year deduction. And if you're the sole shareholder, it's a wash. Your flow through income is reversed. Your rental income offsets it. So right now, you're at a net zero, aren't you? And yet, think about it. There's no self employment tax, there's no FICA tax on rent. So, how do you show this on your return? Use of property is rent, Schedule E. But, on page 1 of 1120S, you're getting a deduction. Now, obviously, if you're not the sole shareholder, your income is going to be greater than your share of the deduction. But that is how the cookie crumbles, so they say. Thank you for attending this brief program. I look forward to seeing you again.